Hello, welcome as you're coming in and you're joining me for another of our mindset shifts. In this mindset shift, we're going to be talking about Ralf. Ralf is somebody I'm coaching that he wants to move into a more senior director role. And so today's conversation or today's presentation, I'm going to show you exactly how I coached him and how he moved from being more passive to more active and moving into the driver's seat. So if you're new and you're coming in, welcome. I'm Samantha, Amit, and I do these lives to help you grow into a more proactive leader where you are driving, where you know how to create the new you that is going to be working not only for yourself and growing yourself, but you're going to be growing your team and you're going to be growing also the business or the organization. So today's live is all around how you can be more proactive about your promotion. And we're going to be learning hopefully a lot of tricks that you're going to be able to implement in the field. So welcome to From Passive to Proactive, how to lead your own promotion conversation. And so the situation is that Ralf has been coaching with me. We've actually only had a couple of sessions, and he is a very supportive kind of leader. He really believes in his team, and he's really a yes man. And sometimes, when you want a promotion, you need to actually consider what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to. And you have to shift a bit from how you usually are to, especially if that promotion isn't coming, especially if that promotion is being delayed, then you need to change something. You need to shift things up a bit. So with Ralf, he's naturally like the nice guy. He'll say yes to things. If his team can't do something, he'll take it on. And I'm actually coaching him to step back a bit, to become more strategic. And this is what I do in all the mindset shifts. I'm helping you to get a promotion. You need to be able to be moving more into a strategic thinking point of view. And so for that, you need to create more space in your day. You need to have more reflection. And I do all this in the coaching. So let's see how I do it together with Ralf. So let's just revisit. I'm going to call up, if you can see on the screen, the situation is that Ralf is a high-performing director. He's been informally considered for promotion to senior director, but they do keep putting it off. So the blocker is that his line manager is unavailable. She doesn't really give him feedback of what he needs to do. And I'm seeing that a lot with all my clients. They're not really getting direct feedback of what they need to do to change to get that promotion. And, you have to keep positioning yourself towards that decision. And so how do you position yourself? And so that's the trick question. And so the old pattern with Ralf is he's very, I won't say he's patient, he's actually quite impatient, but he's waiting and he's passive and he's been understanding about the delay. And you can imagine what that's doing to his mental health, his emotional health, his motivation. Even though he is high performing, he's an achiever, his team does well, still that has an effect on us, this waiting. And so he's hoping that good performance speaks for itself. But I can tell you, through 18 years of experience as a coach, it's not enough to just work on good performance. You need to see who you can influence, where they are, who are the people that are actually going to be deciding if you're going to be getting that promotion or not. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Samantha. Amit, welcome. Welcome to these mindset shifts. There are a number of them that I present live on LinkedIn. I present live on YouTube. And so I'm also available on many of the social media platforms. And my aim is to help you become, a more influential leader, for you to be promoted and to have more of a bigger impact. And what I do is I use mindfulness a lot. Mindfulness is being able to actually be awake, to be present, to make space in your life for what's important for you. and to be able to have an impact, first of all, for yourself, for maybe your family. A lot of the leaders I coach are, parents. And so they're juggling a lot. They're parents, they're either brothers or sisters. They're close to their families. They're high achievers. They usually are into some kind of sport. And so these are busy people. And when you're busy, it's even more so you need to make space for your career development. That way you're going to actually boost your team and you're going to create more business for the organization or create more of an impact for the organization. So I call it a win-win-win. And now in these mindful shifts, I teach different things. So do go back. If you're not sure, you can always connect with me. So thanks for joining. I coach leaders in 43 different countries, probably more today. And so you're going to hear a lot about global, working with cross teams. Today, we're focusing on Ralf and his promotion and how he needs to move from being the doer to being the more of the strategic leader. So let's hop back in with him. And so his new strategy, instead of waiting for his manager, who's always busy, he now books a development meeting instead of waiting. And he prepares clear talking points of what he's going to be doing with his manager. And he moves from the asking for feedback to asking about what is the process for my career development? What timeline can we agree of? And what are the exact blockers? So let me go back a step. What Ralf was actually doing is he wasn't meeting regularly with his manager. Now, it's always important to get time in with your manager because your manager needs to first put you forward for promotion. So we said we need time with our manager. We also need visibility with other key players in the organization, but that's not our focus for today. So let's focus on getting time in with your manager. Now, because Ralf wasn't getting time with his manager, what he was doing is when he was getting time with his manager, he was just like reporting back on what was going on. And I said to him, Ralf, maybe you need to think about a different strategy because that's not moving you forward. So the different strategy that we came up with was instead of him just reporting back on what's going on, on all the projects he's working on, let's actually dedicate some time to his career development and shifting there. So again, what he used to always do is he used to ask for feedback, and asking for feedback, she used to say she was like non-committal and she didn't really have anything to say. And I said to him, Ralf, she probably doesn't have anything to say because she's so busy herself. She doesn't have time to work towards your promotion. She doesn't have time to even check what feedback she can give you. And so we definitely need a mindset shift on her part and on your part and seeing what we can do differently. So what is Ralf doing differently? So his mindset shift is from I'll wait until she has time is my growth deserves time. I'll schedule the conversation. And so that's a big shift when you're deciding that you're not waiting anymore for her to be free. I'm actually going to tell her I need this time in your diary. And from I hope, I'll get feedback, and she continually doesn't get feedback, to I'll clarify a path, check what the blockers are, and make sure that the next steps. So he's actually taking the reins back into his hands. Of course, it's going to be all in alignment, but he's not waiting anymore. He's actually trying something new. Now, for you, I'm not sure what your situation is with your manager. And so you need to think what for you would be a mindset shift. What would for you be doing something different in the meeting with your manager? So why does this all matter? So it matters because we want to be clear, we want to be calm, we want to be intentional, and all of this increases your credibility. It's going to make you come across as much more confident. So if you're coming in now to the, to watching this, I'm Samantha Amit, and we're talking about what you can do to get your next promotion. And so it is around doing something different, and it is around getting clear what that is. And when you get clear, that automatically makes you feel calmer. It automatically makes you feel more confident, and that's going to come across to your manager too. And so you are going to be taking initiative. You are driving, you are showing leadership. And for any promotion, we want to be continually showing leadership. We want to always be able to show that we can pivot and flex. And so it would be having this alignment conversation with your manager. So your manager might be overwhelmed. Your manager might be, like really needing you to take over so that you could show them clearly what that means to get that promotion. And so I'm encouraging you, I'm actually challenging you to be proactive about your future. And the first thing you want to do is stop. So let's actually stop now and do a mindful pause. So I'm going to invite you to sit with both your feet on the ground, and let's just take a few breaths. And if you may want to actually even close your eyes. Okay, so let's start off by sitting upright, closing your eyes, and let's just take 3 breaths, breathing in and breathing out. You're doing great. Feeling your feet on the floor, you can even wiggle your toes. And just notice your breath. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to go anywhere, just breathing in and breathing out. And in your heart, you can even say hello in your name. Hello in your name, and well done for being here right now. You're making time for your development, your leadership development. So just notice how your body is feeling in the chair. You can say, hello body, how are you? And whatever you're noticing, it's all good. Just be, aware with what is right here, right now. And coming back to the breath, breathing in and breathing out. And so let's ask the question of your higher self. Where would I like to see myself in a year's time? And let's just stop there for a minute. Notice yourself waking up in the morning in a year's time. Notice yourself throughout your week and ask yourself the question, what's my role? What am I doing? What am I not doing? Who am I meeting with during my day? And so coming back to the breath, breathing in and breathing out. You're doing great. Just notice where your awareness is right now. We notice with curiosity, almost like looking in from a third-person perspective. And so dropping back into the future now, in a year from now, and drop into a moment where you're like your best self and you are loving what you do, and maybe you're actually what we call in the zone. It's really in your element, doing what you like or even love doing, and time just flies. So notice yourself, where you are, who you're with. Coming back to your breath and just noticing with curiosity where your awareness is right now. And let's find a place in the future, in a year's time, to sit down. And you're sitting down somewhere and you have time to reflect. So perhaps for you, you could be sitting, maybe you're walking somewhere. And you're thinking around the changes you've made. The changes you've made as a manager that's gotten you to where you are right now. What shifted? And coming back to your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And let's just give thanks for any wisdom that you may have received right now. And asking, is there anything else before we finish this, what I call mindfulness inquiry? And when you're ready, you can come back to me, open your eyes. So I'm curious, how was that for you? And if you'd like to share in the comments or even DM me with the question that you have, I would love, love, love to receive that from you. You know, this is the kind of really empowering work that I do with all the managers that I coach, because it's a skill to actually envision your future. And it's so important. And sometimes we can't do this alone. And it helps to have somebody with you doing it with you. So this is actually one of the mindset shifts that Ralf, we're talking about Ralf today. And one of the things that Ralf does, why just in 2 meetings, he's become such a calmer, more confident leader, is he's taking this time to reflect on his future self. And so when you do that, you know, what the science tells us and what psychology tells us, that reflection is, it's gold, because reflection creates, you know, self-awareness, and it creates, actually, it builds your self-awareness, and it builds what we call also self-correction in psychology. And so when we are creatures of habit, so we habitual do things over and over again. What was Ralf doing? Ralf kept going. First of all, he was agreeing with his, you know, that his manager was too busy to meet with him. And so he was just giving her a break. And whenever he was meeting with her, he would just go over what he was doing. And so he didn't make his promotion and his future career the focus, and he didn't put himself first. And by putting himself first is actually good for the organization, because as I said before, it's very motivating for you when you go into the driver's seat, and it's motivating for your team too, because your team want to be working with a calm, confident, clear leader. Now, when you stop and you reflect, and we do this always, as I say, in the coaching, it's a big, big part of the coaching that I do with people. We get visibility into who's this future self? What do I want to change? What am I learning about myself? So that's the mindfulness key. Instead of doing it in a judgmental way of saying, oh, I did that wrong, I made that mistake, I need to fix this. A lot of the leaders I coach talk about fixing things. Coaching is not about fixing anything. It's about actually growing and believing in yourself and growing, because from wherever you are, sometimes tiny steps are big leaps forward. And so that's what we need to figure out. What is your mindset shift that can help you leap forward? What's stopping you from getting your next promotion? And what is the cost of that for you? So what is the cost of you getting your next promotion? What are your blockers? Are your blockers your own blockers? What's your management blockers? Maybe you're not getting enough visibility. So we need to understand all of this, and we need to understand, where am I and what are my next steps? So powerful questions you can ask is, what would make this a clear yes for you? In other words, how would you be clear around what your next steps are and what you need to do? And, feeling that confidence. Who else needs to be involved in the decision? So you would be asking this, maybe even of your manager. What's a clear yes you're asking yourself? What's a clear yes? What would the manager be saying? And what timeline makes sense? So what timeline makes sense from an organizational point of view? And so I prepare, as I say, the managers I coach for this kind of talk, for these powerful questions during the coaching. Often we do what I call a mindfulness inquiry, and that's what we did a few minutes ago. So what is a mindful inquiry? Well, the reason we do it is because it actually taps into a higher wisdom. It taps into, your brain, which we don't access parts of our brain, and it helps us to get clear. So it's dropping into stillness. It's activating parts of our brain that we don't usually activate to get clear. And then what we do when we do this envisioning is we actually are creating new neural paths in our brain. What do I mean by that? That's actually the science of neuroplasticity. What is neuroplasticity? Okay. If you haven't heard of this, please listen. Whatever you're doing, stop, because this is really important. Neuroplasticity is the science that we know now that our brain is no longer fixed. Where we thought our brain is fixed, we know now through mindfulness and mindfulness practice and reflection, for example, is a mindfulness practice. It's an informal practice. We can change things in our brain. We can create new pathways in our brain that help us see our future and gain confidence about our future. So our brains are not fixed, okay? When you have a habit is something that is helpful for the brain because we don't need to think much. We just do what we did before. But if you're going to do what you did before, you're going to get the same results. And so that's a big reason why people come to coaching, because we're so ingrained in our habits and we don't even notice them. We need to do some unlearning. We need to figure out what we need to do differently. And then what we need to do, we need to travel that path. So what we do in this mindfulness coaching that I do is I help the managers I coach through creating these new pathways in their brain. It's called neuroplasticity. It's backed by science. And there's actually huge science around this. All top athletes, all sports people, the top athletes, they do this all the time. They're forever taking time to envision their game, what to do. If this happens, what should I do? If that happens, what should I do? And so they're continually working on creating these new neural pathways in their brain. And I do it with the managers I coach within. And by the way, just go back a few minutes, redo that mindfulness meditation, that mindfulness inquiry that I did with you. And that way you can practice how you are going to do this promotion pitch. What are you going to do differently, with your manager as you move in? So it's absolute gold. Now, one of the big problems that I see happening, which is happening with Ralf as well, is he's just too busy. As I mentioned at the beginning, he's like a really nice guy. He's high achieving. He's super supportive. And so we've been working on him being more challenging with his team, being more direct, delegating more. And by the way, I've done a few mindset shifts also on how you can delegate, and I'll be continuing to do that. And so you need to know how to create space. You need to know how that your diary doesn't look packed. in, meetings, back-to-back meetings. But that's going to be another presentation that I'm going to be, working with you on. So that neuroplasticity of creating new neural pathways in your brain, unlearning your old habits and trying something new, that's what I am challenging you to do. So as a final note, what I want to invite you into that space is don't wait for someone else to decide your future. I want you to lead the conversation, you to lead with calm confidence. Even when the system's slow, because people are busy, you need to be clear. You need to be strategic. You need to be the one who's proactive and respect yourself enough to lead that conversation. And even if you've done it and you've seen that it isn't working, and again, you come back and you say, oh, I did that, I tried that. No, you have to go back and you need to try again, and you need to try again and again until you figure it out. You deserve that promotion, okay? And you deserve the future you want, not only for yourself, for the people that you're going to be growing, for the business or the impact that you're going to have on the organization. And nobody wants to be stagnant. Everybody wants to be growing. And so I really want to move you into that role. And so I want to now give you a gift. And the gift is something that's available on my profile, on my LinkedIn profile. It's available on my Instagram bio. You can DM me if you can't find it. And what is this? This is, it's a tool that's going to help you be more intentional. It's going to be a tool that's going to help you be less busy and more strategic. If you want to get that promotion, any promotion, it's not about the results that you get, because everybody that I'm coaching, they all get results. They are all high performance. That's not the problem. The problem isn't the results that they're getting. The problem is usually that in spite of the results, they're still not getting promoted. So we need to figure out what's going on. And in the meantime, until I meet you in a one-on-one, I want to invite you to download this tool. What it is, it's a tool that you take time at the end of your day to reflect on your day. How intentional was I during the day? Did I meet my expectations? What uplifted my energy and what drained my energy, so that you can see, okay, where should I maybe be delegating more? And so this tool really is gold. Hundreds of leaders have used the tool. And so I'm gifting it to you. For now, it's free, so you should really grab it. You can use it every day. You can use it on some days. I would put a slot in the diary, usually between 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Don't wait till the end of the day to do it. And it's really simple. It can take you 3 minutes. In the beginning, maybe it will take you 5 minutes until you're used to doing it. And it's a mindfulness tool. And we all know mindfulness helps us get clear. Mindfulness helps us become more strategic. Mindfulness helps us become a more confident leader. So we're building our leadership capacity through this tool. So this is what it looks like, okay? The tool looks something like this. You'll be taken into my website. This is the page. All you need to do is you need to fill out your name, your email. It will be sent to you, and you'll be able to be in contact with me. You'll be able to ask me any questions, but it's something so simple, and I really want to invite you into that space to download the tool today. So I want to thank you for attending, and I want to really say to you, you can do it. Now's the time for you to take your future into your hands. Be the proactive, confident leader that I know you can be. Be a driver. Be more like Ralf. Just taking yourself out of your comfort zone. And for that, you actually need to pull back, get perspective. You need to get perspective of what I want to change. So it is about creating that space to reflect and getting clear. So do download that leadership tool. Again, it's available on my LinkedIn profile. You can DM me. You can write to me in the comments. And please let me know how it's going for you. I want to wish you a continued beautiful day wherever you are. I want to wish you to thrive together with your team and to make this a better world for all of us to live in. So bye for now, Samantha, Amit.